Hi guys, today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin again, and the statement as for the video says Bitcoin should be igniting some of these alts. So I want to share some of these alts and the potential next gains that we're going to be making with these alts. We're going to be looking at our crypto EMC crypto portfolio, as well as some legacy information, and then at the end of the stream, obviously we're going to be looking at some of your requests as well. So if you want to be part of that, make sure to send your messages in the chat. And for the rest of you guys, today is going to be another giveaway. So I'm going to be sharing some info for you guys a little bit later. The draw is going to be tomorrow, though. So you're going to have today to get ready so that we can do a big draw tomorrow. Surprise, and give a lot of people some well-deserved access, if you want to put it that way. Okay, now let's get into BTC real quick. So this is the area, and the last statement I left you guys with BTC. Let's take away the music. Let's get serious real quick. Bitcoin was supposed to come and test these range lows. And for the majority, for the HODL idea, the HODL perspective, we've tested that now. We're currently in that zone, which means that for the alts that I'm looking at, there's potential upside. And that's what makes it interesting. Now, where can BTC go? Well, the yellow line on the chart suggests we're going to probably break the 70K barrier and finally start moving into the 70s, the higher 70s, potentially even the 80s. Now, Bitcoin has a way of surprising us. Now, the best way we want to try and look at that surprise is to zoom out and look at the past and look for where the next gap is. Okay, so when price falls quickly, it creates a gap. And in the future, price will get trapped within that gap. That's how we got trapped here. Now I'm just going to try and scrunch this as much as possible so that it makes sense. There's the gap. Price got trapped there, as I explained. There was a gap. Price got trapped there. There's a small gap. Maybe I'm bullshitting a little bit. But the reality is, if we were to go lower again, that gap scenario, follow that thick red line, we could potentially get trapped within that range as well. And I can't rule it out. Remember, technical analysis is not about predicting. It's about laying out the risks so that we can plan accordingly. And that's it. So the next upward level of a gap is going to be there. So BTC could potentially start pushing into the 87. 89 is where I look at best at the moment. Okay. But then there's a scenario where it's going to start running past these levels. Now, when that happens, things are going to be crazy move. Now, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to try and sell false hope here and say to you guys, just buy shit and wait, but typically when that happens, you can just buy anything and wait and you will be making money. The hard part is, again, yes, we risk management because we want to be able to walk away with that money, and that's the key here. Okay, what else do I have to support this crazy idea that this buy zone is going to stick and we're going to go higher? Well, we can cycle through all the big charts, but the important thing is that looking at the liquidity that I see is that if BTC goes a little bit lower again still, remember, this is 66,800. It's so small on the HODL scheme of things. It's insignificant. It's going to sweep out all the long players, and it's going to leave a sea of shorts to be taken out. And funny thing, if we start scrolling down, coins like AVAX, coins like DOT, even Solana has so heavily weighted shorts against them that if the market does take out the liquidity, BTC to the downside and move to the upside, coins like these, AVAX, DOT, Solana, they're going to be flying because they're going to have all that selling pressure turned back bullish. Now, how does that work? Well, simple. If you take a short in the market, the way you protect yourself from being liquidated is by putting a stop. What is a stop? It's a forced buy, potentially even at a price where you're going to lose some capital if it's above your entry. So any short position comes with a promise to buy if I'm wrong, just like any long position comes with a promise to sell if I'm wrong. So there's a hell of a lot of promises sitting on these coins, and they heavily weighted into the wrong direction. You would imagine Solana is bullish. There's people going long, but who the hell is going short on this? And this is where contrarian theory comes in quite strongly. You want to be trading in harmony with the majority trend, but you want to see when there's a divergence as such to try and exploit it. Now, clearly, when we're going to be looking at those coins, there's going to be a lot of bullish signals there, and there's going to be a bullish invalidation level. But for that reason, that's why I believe that these coins are going to be doing really well. Okay, so let's go through some more information real quick. Now, today is GDP figures. So US GDP figures, or the preliminaries, are going to be coming through. And I think it just refreshed. The time zone is gone. So let's quickly see if there's any new figures posted on the site. Maybe, Peter, you'll do that for me. I don't want to bore you guys with going through that. But I imagine the GDP is going to be relatively flat, okay? People already anticipating that there's going to be an additional increase in interest rate, not a reduction, be it a minute 1%. But this kind of bodes well for us for the long-term bullish outlook. Long-term bullish outlook being that, if I zoom out this chart, is that every time the Fed pivots, means it starts to reduce the interest rates. That's normally when the real recession hits. So the fact that smart money is speculating on the idea that it's going to go higher still tells us that we're still good. There's probably no crisis coming our way just yet. And remember, it's a U.S. election year, and statistically proven, in the U.S. election, they want to be in a strong economy when that happens. Now, just something else to support the reason that I think things are going to go higher, and this is a big one, is the DXY, the DXY. Now, this for the crypto hodler needs to be read in the following way. When people feel scared, they will flee to fiat. So we all hate fiat. Fiat's been manipulated. They steal our money. They print more money, and. But when you're scared, you're going to go back there because for the short term, reality for everybody, the loss in buying power in the fiat is so small that you cannot measure it from day to day. It's month on month or quarter, year on year. Then you really see how it gets devalued. Okay, so when we're scared, we're going to flee to that. When we're greedy, when we feel like there's opportunities to be had, we're not going to be letting our money sit in fiat. Because of this reason, we're going to be looking for businesses to invest, coins to buy, i.e. So, in short, you want Bitcoin to trend, the DXY needs to go down. Every time BTC reaches a bear market bottom, it's when the DXY hits a top. Okay, and when the DXY trends down, our bull market is kind of secure because money is leaving. And it's the same for any of your stock markets, your indexes, your Dow Jones, and. They inversely correlated. So if we go back to the DXY, the big thing that we were looking for is, this was our bearish divergence. So what did we have? We had strong bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, turned around, and we had a nice little rally. And in this rally, BTC started pushing up from 15 to where it is today. And the hope is that on the monthly, we want to see the DXY start moving down lower to at least these $98 level. So let's zoom in. And I'm looking at it for the first time as well with you guys at this moment. And the reason for this is I'm trying to give you an unbiased view of what this DXY is showing. So at the moment, if we're looking at this, that there is very little on a bullish signal for the DXY because we don't have any hidden bullish divergence and so forth. So this could be seen as a 3-wave correction, and we're about to set up for a 5-wave impulse to the downside to go back, test these lows. That's now me looking at it purely from a point of view. So yes, you can argue that, but there's a clear trend there, Rudo, and. But between these 2 points, you would want to see hidden bullish divergence, meaning price stays higher, but the RSI needs to be down there. It's not, okay? And for this to be an impulse, for this to be a trend, a nice 5-wave screw with your long-term investment Bitcoin impulse, okay? The rule is very simple. That 4th point, that low point there, that's equal to this now, okay? That low point can't go below 1. Okay? That's the typical rule from Elliott Wave. If it does, it is more of a consolidation as opposed to a trend. which at this stage is already done. So that supports the idea that it's more consolidation rather than a trend, and that you can expect that there's going to be a little bit more chop and crazy, but it's not going to move away. We're not going to trend downwards at this moment. Okay, so interesting things to support. So yes, there was a sell zone for the Dixie at some stage, but it's not quite there yet. So let's see if this bear trend holds and it breaks down or whatever the case. But this is really boasting well for BTC long term. Now, if we take that BTC idea long term and we want to try and see if we can substantiate that with some more technicals, when we look at BTC from a long term point of view, you can see that we have now been consolidating still above our monthly bearish pivot. And these bearish pivots, and for those that are not new, when you look at this high and you look at that high and you bring in the RSI, you'll see, oh dear, there's strong bearish divergence. We're not going to have another bull market that was trending at some stage, okay? But the reality is, as the rule goes with well, my rule, okay, is that simple. That is a bullish signal because it tells you that the bears got their asses handed to them. That's what it tells you. And that condition is going to remain intact until the bears take control back. The only way they can do it is to get price below $58,000. That's partly the reason why we were so bullish at $58,000. That was our buy zone based on the monthly divergence telling me that, listen, if this is them fighting back the bears, they should not get the victory. And the cheapest price I can be a bull and still find out whether the bears are going to get the victory is going to be that 58,000 level, because go below that, start trading in that area. I want to get out with as minimal amount of loss as possible. That's it. And that paints the whole picture for why I'm still bullish on BTC. Now, we've seen these kind of patterns play out multiple times. Best example for us was actually Solana, which handed the asses to a lot of bears in the previous push to the upside. Why? Because it'd been giving you bearish signals on bearish signals, and it kept on going higher despite of that. So it was giving strong bearish divergence, and people were using these as exit points. But in reality, if we don't lose the pivots, and it's the best way is probably to use the weekly time frame. If we don't lose the pivots, okay, higher, lower high in RSI, higher low. If we don't lose that pivot, that's a buy zone, and that's a bullish signal for more. Hence the fact that our last Solana buy zone is sitting up quite nicely. And brings me to the idea then why people are bearish. Well, simple. Solana is the retail trader's favorite. Every retail trader out there loves it, okay? But if you look at this pattern, where's it at? It just hit resistance. Resistance, we kind of predicted, you know, how? I drew a line from there to there and I extended and said price is going to go there. That's how retail's best technical analysis based on that. And the fact that that's happening for them is saying, well, yes, it's falling down now. It's going bearish. We need to short this. But in reality, this is more of a 5-wave impulse for me, meaning 1, 2, 3. And if you're an Elliott wave guru and you blame me for destroying Elliott wave, remember, I'm just looking at it from it's an easy way to try and explain what's going to happen. And that's a simple 5-wave. So you've got that 4, and you've got a scenario where that is holding above the previous one. So you're not breaking, and it's an impulse. Another pro tip to kind of define where's an impulse and where's a correction, simple. Impulses, when something's trending, the candle's all blue, low bottoms. When it's correcting, it's a blend of candles. Impulse, candles are all blue, except bar 1. That's normally when we reach the third, the wave 4 to 5, that last little bit, that one. You'll have a little one like that. And remember, it's wave within waves. Each one of these have got their own 5 waves and corrections in there. So where we're at now with the same equivalent of this version or that version or that version on the daily time frame. So it's telling me that it needs to go higher. In addition to this, the RSI is on the bullish side of things. So we're above 50. You remain bullish above 50 because it's telling you that the momentum is still favoring that of the bulls. Now, sadly, the daily doesn't have a nice hidden bullish divergence for us to kind of just add a little bit more confidence. How that would look is RSI needs to be down there. But if we take this over to the weekly time frame, This is the interesting one. From our previous bearish pivot bottom to our current bottom, hidden bullish divergence, which tells me bigger time frames are still very strong and ready for higher highs. So simple. Next target for Solana is potentially wreck the bears and push to 250. And that makes for a nice one. And who's going to be making money on this? Definitely not retail, because they're going to be shorting and probably get their asses handed to them. And that's the interesting thing about this. Okay. Now, before I move on to the rest of these coins, the alts, remind, if you find the content helpful, do yourself a solid and subscribe and share the video with somebody else, because this is the real stuff. Real technical analysis is not trending, hypey, just buy and we all be happy content. It's hard work to manage your portfolio. And if you want to do that right, do that with me. Okay. Now, in addition to this, I started a portfolio. Let's quickly have a look at where our portfolio is. Now, currently, as you can see, that the majority of this portfolio is still in dollars. I have not bought everything. I'm still waiting for what? Well, BTC will probably break out, but then this all becomes one big one. Similar version of that. So there's probably going to be another long shakeout that's just going to cripple everybody's bullish sentiment again. That disbelief before the real crazy starts. And it's for that reason that I'm saying, well, I'm not going to ape in everything, because I want to buy more when there's confirmation. You add to a strong trend. You don't get out of a strong trend. You add then. DCA is the fundamentalist excuse for, oh shit, it didn't go as I thought, so I'll just buy more at the bottom. That's not how it's supposed to work. Okay, so at the moment, we're up about 10%, but if you think about it, we're up about 20% because we've got only 50% of our portfolio deployed. Okay, so big caps is currently doing well. The money makers, everything is kind of stable because Bitcoin has been grinding sideways. But today I'm going to show you a few more coins that I might be buying with my spot capital and some of my money maker and long shot capital, because I see that there might be some really good upside at a decent price. The risk to reward is really favorable. Okay, so but before we do that though, guys, just a friendly reminder, today's video is sponsored by ByBit. Open your ByBit account using my partner link. Not only will you get all the rewards and benefits that ByBit give you, but in addition to this, if you head over to the Discord, you'll be able to get access to our crypto harmonic bot. You'll be getting access to some of our additional Discord features and the other content that I cannot bring to YouTube. That is, for lack of a better word, sometimes too boring, too technical, and plus it's a nice area where if you want to ask me a question directly and have me look at something, you can do that. Now, remember, I'm no financial advisor. I do not give financial advice, but it gives you an opportunity to be part of the community. So as simple as that. If you get that ByBit role, you can head over to Give Me ByBit Bot Access. You've opened your account, you've KYC'd, and you've got at least $100 worth of crypto, any crypto, and you enter your UID. ByBit Bot will actually unlock the Discord for you. Simple as that. So you'll get this ByBit partner role and unlocks the bot, so where you can have a look at the spot trades I share, additional charts, additional education. And for tomorrow's giveaway, the first 10 people that do this today will get an additional boost. I will give you a year crypto, a year EMC Club membership access, which throws you in on the airdrops and all the other research investment we do, my weekly HODL report where we go through the meaty stuff, where we are with our coins, our projects, our buys, and way more than what we share, what I can share on YouTube for the limited amount of time. So these are very 85 minutes in, we're still busy. So you can get access to that and so forth and so forth. So there you have it, ByBit rewards. Why? Because you can benefit from this, as simple as that. Now let's head over to our additional alts. And before we do that, I just want to say hi and everything to the guys in the comments, those taking time to join in live. We've got about 300 people live at this moment. Anastasia says underwater. Okay, that's not a nice place to be. Renee, hello Renee. Let's see what else we've got. I hope you're not underwater. You're supposed to be doing well. I mean, look at these buys, these sell zones of these buy zones we shared. Come on, you should just be patient and wait for the right opportunity. Neo in a buy zone at the moment. Let's have a look at Link. This was the buy zone for Link. Look at how this thing is flying. Phantom, TP hit. Still waiting for a buy zone there. So there you have it. You can't be underwater. And if you are underwater, be patient. The market never runs out of opportunities, though. Let's see. Jockey says, I'm in the belief phase. So, Jockey, to add to you, I hate to be in any of these phases, because the reality is, as soon as you do feel like that, you act like that. So try and get away from anything. Measure the risk. Take it as it is, and understand that as soon as you're part of this, you become part of the statistic as well. And the statistic is simple. People ride it all the way to euphoria. At that stage, it doesn't make sense to sell. And then they ride it all the way back down to anger. Why? Because it's too painful to sell. And they're waiting for the next bump to get out, which doesn't come, because this is where they got taught it's okay to wait. Like I'm saying, it's okay to wait again. But then it doesn't come. And then when they do sell, it is when the market reaches that exhaustion point. And some of these alts, especially these ones that I'm going to be sharing with you now, they have not seen a bull market. So they'll probably, at that stage when we're there, retrace another 98% from that price point. Doesn't make sense? Solana did it. Bitcoins did it. So these small ones will do it as well. Okay. So let's see what else we have in your comments before we head over to these alts. I want to share these alts with you guys. I would love to hear my thoughts on VET. We can have a look at that if there's time at the end of the stream. Let's see what else. First and second TP Solana coming. Yeah, maybe that's true. Matty B, what's up, buddy? Really busy in the Discord. Been OG in the Discord and on YouTube as well. Nice to have you on stream. Okay, so let's continue on with these alts. Now, let's see if this updated. I'm a cheater, and you're supposed to be cheating as well. So what I did is I went on Mr. Karen's YouTube channel, and I looked at some of these projects that he's sharing. Why? Because he does a lot of good fundamental research. And that's the inspiration for the coin. So give credit when it's due. If I steal something from somebody, I will always acknowledge it. If I don't acknowledge it, it's mine. And maybe if it's the same as what somebody else has said, it's by accident, you know? That's the way it works. So let's have a look at what he was saying. There's a few of these projects that I want to share with you guys. And the first one that I want to start off with was Aerodrome. Okay. Now, I charted Aerodrome for you guys actually a while ago. Somebody asked it on request. So we're looking at Aerodrome. And he's saying that at this stage, from a fundamental point of view, he likes the project. It's got some of the highest total value locked on, I think, on the base chain, and so forth. So from a fundamental point of view, it's due an investment, as such. But when I look at this from a technical, from a risk-adjusted point of view, I'm saying to myself, okay, yes, there's some merit here, because the strongest bull cycles or the strongest bull trends normally start off with a consolidation like this. Okay, don't believe me? Look at this. We can look at the current BTC one. And how did it start? I'm just going to go to a chart that doesn't have that much drawings on it. I clearly love to draw too much, guys. So what happens, and I'm going to go to the weekly time frame just to support the crazy. The strongest of trends start with this. And it's at that stage when the accumulation gets sorted out. And then the big run happens, okay? Don't believe me still? We can have a look at the previous Bitcoin bull cycle. So I'm just going to go to a pairing, say, let's have a look at Bitfinex. Let's go to Bitfinex. Go to the previous bull cycle. Yet again, the strongest of bull trends starts with chop. Okay, you can argue that this is part of this one's chop. It's always the rhyme, never the duplicate. Okay, and from that point onwards, the move happens. So when we're in the scenario where things are chopping, you need to take notice. Okay, we're consistently making higher highs, higher lows. RSI is supporting that, and it's flipping onto the bullish side of things. Now, for this to remain bullish, I think retail would expect this trend to hold. And this is where you need to decide on how much risk you want to take. Okay. Another thing to just keep in the back of your head, let's forget about the RSI real quick, though, is we've seen an insane retrace. It's gone and made a lower low, but we're still below the 23.6. Now, as long as, and we know this now for forever, as long as price stays below, stop moving around you. I'm a cheap ass. I still have a mouse that is on a cable. It's skew. It got bent in the sun, but I just love it. I'm, when you've used it for so long, you don't want to let go of it. It jumps, it bumps. It's a horrible thing, but it's my horrible thing. So I don't want to get rid of it. But in the end of the day, as long as something stays below the 23.6, guys, you know that there's always going to be more momentum. And at this stage, that is for the retrace, the resistance that this needs to break. Okay. Now, is there clues that we can see that this is going to potentially happen? Well, in order for us to do that, we need to head over to, say, a 4-hour time frame to try and see whether we can find something that's going to suggest that happening, other than the fractal that I showed you on BTC. And on the 4-hour time frame, there's definitely that potential. So a shakeout, what would really discourage the confidence from a retailer? As simple as price breaking the line, because they put too much weight into lines like these. These lines are very precious to a retail trader, and being on the other side of the line means don't touch. But that line is insignificant. It means nothing to price action nor people sentiment, other than the wrong side of the market sentiment. So a little bit of selling pressure down, bring price back down to its previous support level, which is fair to assume should get tested. Okay. Means that RSI will probably go lower, and you're set up for that hidden bullish divergence. So that fearful buy that could ignite price and start bringing price to where 38.2618 minimum. Now at this stage, it's not a 10x. It's not make money and retire, quit your day job. But at that stage, once we're there, you start seeing that signal. We can treat this whole thing again as an impulse on its own. And then we can use that same idea and bias to make sure that price needs to stay above the 23.6. So a decent retrace of where we are now means that there's confluence for around $1.10. And we're sitting on the 23.6. Now, yes, you're bending the narrative, what wick to use. But these are small market caps. That wick doesn't necessarily suggest that there is active trading there, more liquidation or something like that happened there. So just keep that in the back of your head. Now, if you want to grab some, understand, guys, that you need to be buying this from a buying spot point of view. So if it goes wrong, you need to be able to buy 2 or 3 more times, but at a lower price, should you want. So that's just, keep it in the back of your mind. That's just good risk management. Where would those levels be? Well, if we go lower, the scenario means that things would get really bearish on this, meaning that we're going to fall to these ranges, 81 cents and an ant, but it means breaking, some critical fractal levels. So it's too soon to be so bearish, especially with the fact of where BTC is. It might inherit some of Bitcoin's good juju, and that for that reason, I think that this is a really good spot accumulation for the hodlers. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. So when we look at TAI, or what is the name? TAI, I think. If we look at this one, I shared this a while ago with you guys and explained to you guys, there's the bearish divergence. We fell below the pivot. We went to the 618, and there's the trend. And where was the TP? 50% of the wick. So it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. This is how these things work. But now, what do we have? We've got another wave completed. So it's going to try and find, retail is going to try and find some sort of a bullish level for this. And whether they're going to use a line or however they're going to get there, but there's going to be a bullish narrative for this to do what? To try and get out of this wick range, which would be really good. Now, there is some really big marketing behind this. And that's that kind of marketing that will really push price quite highly. But still, do your own research. Make sure that you're happy with this. It's new listing on ByBit. And typically, new listing coins in the beginning of the bull market do really well at the end of the bull market, guys. So you want to be getting them on the big exchanges when they're there at the beginning, and when they're at the end, you're going to be smiling. So just plan around that. Now, targets, where could these potential targets be? You know the drill, 50% of the candle that makes the higher high, that's the buy. So there you have it. Daily time frame, there's a scenario. So there's still more downside. I'm not bringing you stuff that's pumping now. I'm bringing you stuff that's dumping. Normally people are too scared to buy the dumping, but this is the bullish ones. Retracing, I see a little bit more downside. 11 cents thereabouts should be a really good deal. Okay, next one. Now this one is trending down quite aggressively, but I'm looking at from a TA point of view, and I'm saying to myself, well, what do we have? We've got some critical support, shakeout, massive push to the upside. So if you're looking at this, when was the last time there was really bullish confidence entering there? So price is going to want to try and go to that 29 cents level. So it's fair to assume from a pure visual point of view that what's going to happen with the price when it reaches there? There's going to be strong bullish divergence. So I've already applied the Garn Fib to kind of narrow down where that potential bullish move is going to be. And this is going to give you a good idea of where your buy needs to be for this one. So be patient, wait for this, scatter some limit orders on ByBit, and try and get it in around 32, 34 cents. This does have really high, fundamentals on it, because look at where it was just the other day. So when there's something like this, there's a lot of liquidity trap. There's a lot of hopefuls still in the market, and you can easily go 200%, potentially to around 80, 90 cents before this thing's even going to try and go for a price discovery to the downside. Should get really bearish. Okay. Another one that I want to share with you is this one. So cup and handle, if ever there was one. All right. So let's have a look at this from a technical point of view. This is Flare. You can't get it on ByBit at the moment. You're going to have to go to another exchange to do that. But there's your cup and there's your handle. Now, how cup and handles normally work is there's a neckline. So you take it from the one side to the other side of the cup. So this is your TA, price charting done professionally. But then what you would say is that would be the extent of the gains you can expect at minimum. Right. And how you're going to position yourself is you typically will see a channel forming. And let's do this. Channel forming within price. And once you break that channel, we'll start at the top there. Once you break that channel, you put that line in there, and then you have an expectation of where price is going to be. Okay. So there at least is another 150%. Now, a good example of one just like that was in here. Let me quickly just go through I now hopefully can get it quickly. Leverage, no, I did it under spot. There we go. This one. So we got safe, and that was the buy zone around $1.65. Cup and handle, and I said there's add to your position, which then subsequently is one of the next coins that we'll be looking at. So, but before we do that, let's have a look at this one, part of that list, and this is SPEC. So I've been chasing price with this one, being too cheap each and every time. So I looked at it when it launched there. I got it from Token Metrics. I was going through Token Metric alternatives, and this one came up. Missed my buy. Then I gave a second one, missed that buy. So where we are now, I'm frustrated with this one. I'm never going to seem to get a buy on this one. So let's dive this into the 4-hour time frame and see if I can get in, because there's clearly a lot of momentum. Now, what do we know? I said this earlier. When you have something going like this, it's building up. It's almost like a coil being, or spring being loaded. When it's going to release, all that demand, if the supply is absorbed correctly, it's just going to push price to the higher. And the key takeaway here is, as this is going up, look at that RSI. Okay. Hidden bullish divergence. So it's ramping up. So it's building a typical retail, I don't know what you want, triangle, pennant, whatever you want to call this, typical retail version of that. Now, here's a little trick, guys, that I learned the hard way. When you look at these patterns, you want to try and time them. Take a time fib zone, take it from the top to where the cross is, okay? And then switch on your 75. 0.75. Typically around that level is when the breakout occurs. So I'm yet again bringing this to you early. You've got 3 or 4 days to look at it and analyze it, read up on it, and then typically around then, that is when the big move happens. So this would be considered as your axis, okay? So price will revolve around these levels, chop around these levels, and you can use the bottom of this triangle to use whatever strategy you have to try and get in. Because 65% of the time, this breaks up in the direction of the current trend. So the betting man is telling you that that's what's going to happen. Yes, there's bearish divergence. Yes, there's all the other stuff as well, but that's what's going to happen in a pattern like this. Always treat the hidden bullish divergence as the superseding stronger version of this. Okay, so that's the key to this. So anywhere within that area, you need to consider your buys. Simple as that. Okay, let's head over back to your comments. We're about 35 minutes in. We're about to wrap things up. I see Mr. Maximilian is here. Good morning, frenemies. Don't let the bear scare you from biting or hitting that like. Yes, pump the coin or pump the channel and like and subscribe, whatever you want. Okay, let's have a look at MANTA real quick. Now, this one, I'm really bearish on. Reason for that is you can clearly see that it is still trending down. But let's go to the daily time frame. Let's bring the line tool on, and then immediately it should start changing your narrative, saying to you, okay, I understand that this is bearish, okay? But there's a thou shall not cross line that the bears are checking out at the moment, and it's at resistance. Yes, it's a given. 23.6 is there as well. So there's a lot of reason to not want to buy this, and you will be right. But when we break movements like these, okay, when we break them, you've got that insane gap sitting right there. And even if price wants to go down, you have a scenario where it's going to want to do this. Fill that and probably dump lower or dump higher, whatever the case might be. So from just looking at the way that price tends to move, this has got a lot of potential. Okay. Hidden bearish divergence means we're probably going to go back down and test that $1.55 or 58 level. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to look at this and say to yourself, okay, I'm buying spot. I'm not leveraging this thing, buying spot. And any buy between $1.60 there around this area would be my best opportunity to get in on what could potentially be a bottom for this. Okay. Then my first hurdle would be that this needs to be turned into support. Okay. Which means that I need to grab my buy here, and hopefully it will reject. Typically, it will reject the 23.6. Mean by that time you're up like 25%. Will reject there, and it will start consolidating above $1.85. And then the retailers will start coming with their trend lines, wherever that will be, and then this is going to happen. So you need to understand that these things are 3 months trades, 2 months trades. So you buy and you wait a little bit. Okay, those are the ones that I really wanted to share with you guys for today. So you have a good idea of what it is I'm looking at, where it is I'm looking at. Examples of ones like these. These were ENA. Athena shared with everybody in the Discord when it was really risky. And that's that same type of scenario. So those guys are looking at this and saying, all right, initial buy there, there's another buy potentially coming soon. Still not there, 73. Then there's these ones that we shared. It's in the secondary buy zone. It needs to hold this because then it's going to potentially push on higher. This is Netmine, this is Deepin, okay? Really trending narratives. And the last thing, and AMPL is a scary one, guys, but you need to understand that these are buy zones we've been waiting for. And the reason behind this is because we're below that orange line at the end of tonight or 2 p.m. my time. It's going to take some of your coins because it's in the negative rebase zone. It wants to get the price back up, so it's going to punish everybody accordingly. Algorithmic stable coin that makes you a hell of a lot of money, because if you think about this, if you buy these bottoms and you wait long enough, you can sell these tops. And it's a simple spot trade that gives you a lot of percentages every other month almost. A lot of percentages. Easiest thing to buy. Okay. So there you have it. So let's quickly have a look at some of your requests. I see we're talking about Say. Let's see what else. Say from Stefan. Let's see what else we have. We've got ICP from LOL. And let's see. Uto's, what is he saying? He's not asking for any coins. Normally, Uto's got a lot that he's asking for, guys. So let's quickly have a look at Say. Let's have a look at Say, see where it's at. Almost there, almost there. There we go. It's my 25x list. Okay, so I'm still waiting for that buy zone. We already talked about it testing the hidden demand zone there, okay? And it rallied very nicely. But you can see there's hidden bearish divergence. Remember, take the hidden divergence stronger. 65% of the time, you're looking at what? The pattern, that triangle breaking up in favor of the current trend, okay? So there's that chance for this. But now, what if I'm wrong and the hidden bullish divergence on the daily, which is clear as daylight, plays out? That's why I bought some there. Okay, simple as that. So I've got another order waiting there. I bought some there. So if it falls to pieces, there's my buy. And then the target is to do what? At least go higher high and hit the gone fib TP. Okay, so then I'm going to look for my TP. And that's $1.38. Okay, so there that is. Does AMPL follow Bitcoin? No, AMPL is a stable, algorithmic, stable coin. But the interesting thing around AMPL is that it does not have manipulation. Why? Because if you're trying to suppress price by selling hard to bring a negative narrative in there, you're indirectly hurting yourself, because at the end of the day, it rebalances everybody, all the wallet holders' supply, or it will add or it will deduct. So it will punish everybody fairly, like you would expect if the government prints money, okay, to do what? Quantitative easing. Let's bring up this chart real quick. And this makes it interesting to talk topic. How much time? 41. Okay. So every time there's quantitative easing, the stock market rallies really well. The government prints money, spends it. Okay. You don't get it. They use it, all right, to prop up the economy. But with AMPL, that money gets put into your wallet. So every time the government prints money, you get it. But the downside is when there's tightening, when we're going through these consolidation phases and the government deletes, offloads its balance sheet, they take money from you as well. AMPL will take some of your stable at the end of the day. So that's how it works. Don't just buy AMPL on spot. I should have probably not even shared this on YouTube, because people don't grasp that, don't read up on what it is, and then come tomorrow see, well, there's less tokens. KuCoin stole my coins. They didn't. That's the way it works. So please go read up on that. Okay. So Jockey, you're basically not allowed to buy it. Go read up first and then come back and ask that. Why? Because I care. I want to make sure you understand about it. Okay. Anastasia is asking about DOGE. ORDI is moving. Yes, ORDI is doing really well. Peter is flashing get done signals again. So I'm going to be really quick. ORDI, BTC ordinals, I shared these and I gave you guys these buys for forever. Look at this. ORDI is flying. There's our buy zone. We bought that yellow line, guys. You all should be sitting in pretty. So Anastasia, how are you underwater? I don't understand. So ORDI is doing really well. Let's have a look at, oh no, you've got Doge. Sorry, Anastasia. Edo, you've got ORDI. So let's have a look at Doge real quick. Dogecoin, it's forming a nice pattern. At the moment, it's just above the buy zone. It's trying to turn previous resistance into support. 23.6 is obviously going to be bearish resistance. There's a little gap there, so expect. Don't buy now because sellers are going to enter the market here. They're going to want to enter the market here to try and smash this loan lower, because look at where our buy zone is sitting in there. Around 10 cents. Okay, so there you have it. Let's see what else we have real quick. Maybe SMT. I don't have it on the list. Let's see what else we have. Crown, don't have on the list. Filecoin, we can maybe have a look at Filecoin real quick, because I don't want to take too much time. I want to end off the stream. File, still in the buy zone. Alternative buy sitting in there as well. 50% of the wick, but we run that same story, guys. Trend is down strong. Triangle, trusted, it's going to go lower. That's going to be my alternative buy. So anywhere between now $5 and around $4, still big picture, because there's about an 8,000% upward potential. Look at this flat long accumulation. Move to the upside at least. Do I think it's going to make a higher high this bull cycle? No. What's the rule? Funny enough, just to remind you, when you look at any new coins, new something on a new exchange, 50% of that wick, guys, there's your sweet spot. Okay, so that's going to be my next sweet spot for this one. There you have it. Okay, there we go. What's it? Second best. Okay, guys, let's end with the stream. Thanks so much for taking the time. Remember to get your ByBit account. Support the YouTube channel. Really does go a long way to do that. Tomorrow, once you've done that, you've got your ByBit access. You go and you hit your giveaway and you open your ticket. And then there's going to be a draw. And I'll be selecting 5 guys or 10 guys or whoever does this, I'll actually basically announce you. And I can get your access and you can start taking and participating in the investment report that's going to run there. Long, boring, meeting video, but it's important because you want to see your portfolio grow. That's it. We're here to make some money. You have a lovely day. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye. I'll keep hustling.
Subscribe now.